Level 1. The Budget Dream. Everyone warned you against buying the cheapest Ferrari on the market, but you couldn't resist the allure of that legendary prancing horse badge. You buy a neglected Mondial that has clearly seen much better days. The overall condition of this car is absolutely laughable. The cracked leather interior smells like old gasoline and shattered dreams. The electrical system has a mind of its own, randomly flashing dashboard lights at you while driving. However, all of those headaches disappear the moment you touch the gear shifter. That iconic metal-gated shifter makes a deeply satisfying clack-clack sound with every single throw. It is a mechanical symphony that makes you completely forget about the incoming repair bills. It isn't a fast car by any modern standards whatsoever. A brand new family minivan could probably beat it at a stoplight drag race. But when you hold that heavy red key in your hand, you feel like absolute automotive royalty. Level 2. The Gateway Drug. The Mondial is a harsh lesson, but you are ready to move up the ladder. You finally get your hands on a 360 Modena, and it is a total revelation. The aluminum chassis and that beautiful glass engine cover make it feel like a true exotic. The sound of this machine permanently rewires your brain. When you push that naturally aspirated V8 to 8,500 RPM, it literally screams. You find yourself downshifting in tunnels just to hear that glorious noise bounce off the concrete walls. This is also the exact moment you learn what supercar attention feels like. People constantly stare at you, take photos at red lights, and ask questions at gas stations. You can never just blend into the background when you drive a bright red Italian wedge. You quickly realize that this car is a fragile, high-maintenance instrument. It demands your respect, your patience, and a very healthy bank account. But every time you carve through a canyon road, you know the Maranello hype is completely justified. Level 3. The Purist's Choice. Evolution is almost always better than revolution. The F430 takes everything you loved about the 360 and sharpens it to absolute perfection. It feels significantly tighter, undeniably faster, and surprisingly much more reliable. This is your first experience with the famous Manettino switch on the steering wheel. You flick that little red dial into race mode, and the car's entire personality transforms instantly. The electronic differential works magic, making you feel like a professional racing driver. You stop treating your Ferrari like a fragile museum piece. You start daily driving the F430, taking it out on weekends regardless of rain or shine. It is a pure sports car that begs to be driven hard, not locked away in a dark garage. This era is the perfect sweet spot for the modern enthusiast. It is analog enough to keep you deeply engaged with the mechanicals. Yet, it is modern enough that it doesn't leave you stranded on the side of the highway every month. Level 4. The Daily Classic. As you get older, your priorities on the road inevitably begin to shift. You get tired of stiff suspensions breaking your back on every single pothole. You buy the California Tea because you want to go to dinner without arriving completely exhausted. The internet purists cry endlessly about Ferrari using turbochargers again, but out in the real world, the low-end torque is absolutely incredible. You can actually pass people on the highway without having to violently downshift twice. This car teaches you the true meaning of the Grand Tourer lifestyle. You can throw your weekend bags in the back, drop the hardtop in 14 seconds, and drive for 100 miles. It eats up the asphalt while keeping you wrapped in premium Italian leather. People constantly judge the California, but usually, those people don't even own a Ferrari. You don't care about their harsh opinions or keyboard reviews. You end up putting more miles on this comfortable cruiser than any other exotic in your collection. Level 5. The Mid-Engine Masterpiece. Eventually, you miss the visceral, terrifying thrill of a mid-engine exotic. The 458 Italia is widely considered the last naturally aspirated V8 masterpiece from Maranello. Pininfarina absolutely nailed the exterior design, creating a shape that will look futuristic forever. The steering rack in this car is so incredibly fast it almost feels illegal. You just look at the apex of a corner and the car is already there. It literally reads your mind before you even physically turn your hands. You take it to a track day and push it to the glorious 9,000 revolutions per minute redline. The howling sound echoing right behind your head is a deafening, overwhelming sensory experience. It vibrates through your spine and makes your heart race faster than the engine. This is the exact rank where you stop being just a wealthy collector. You are actively dancing with the absolute pinnacle of Italian mechanical engineering. You know deep down that nothing will ever sound or feel quite like this again. Level 6, the modern V12 icon. And then, the absolute king of the garage finally arrives. You order an 812 Superfast, spec'd perfectly in stunning red paint sitting on sleek gray wheels. This impossibly long hood hides the legendary front-engine V12 royalty that defines the brand. This car isn't just fast. It delivers pure, unfiltered violence to the tarmac. You have 800 naturally aspirated horsepower sent straight to the rear wheels. Every single time you aggressively touch the gas pedal, you are actively fighting physics. The intimidation factor of the 812 is completely off the charts. It demands absolute respect, extreme focus, and will severely punish you if you get sloppy. But when you manage to tame it through a corner, the adrenaline rush is simply unmatched. It becomes the undeniable centerpiece of your entire automotive life. When you park it, you walk away and look back at least 3 or 4 times. It constantly reminds you that all those struggles, late nights, and massive repair bills were worth it. Level 7, the hybrid frontier. You honestly never thought the day would come when you'd buy a hybrid Ferrari, but the SF90 Stradale isn't a Prius. It is basically alien technology engineered for the road. It completely rewrites the traditional rules of how speed is supposed to feel. The brutal acceleration from the hybrid powertrain is difficult to process. You have 3 electric motors and a twin-turbo V8 working together in violent harmony. You step on the throttle, and your vision literally blurs as you launch forward on public streets. The craziest part is the completely silent, stealthy electric startup. You can leave your neighborhood at dawn without waking up a single neighbor. But once you hit the open highway, that V8 kicks in like a sledgehammer hitting your chest. You finally learn to embrace this new era of hyper-efficient performance. It bridges the soulful, loud past of Maranello with the cold, precise logic of future tech. It opens up a completely new, mind-bending dimension of driving dynamics. Level 8, the legacy. This is the holy grail of the modern automotive collector's world. Money doesn't even matter at this rank. You actually have to be chosen by the factory. It is the ultimate crown jewel, strictly limited to a very lucky few individuals. You aren't just driving a fast car, you are physically holding automotive history. Opening those dramatic hypercar doors feels exactly like entering a sacred cathedral. You sit inside the absolute pinnacle of an entire generation of engineering. You strap into the carbon fiber tub and let your mind wander back through the years. You vividly remember the smell of that rusty, broken Mondial from 2 decades ago. The massive contrast between where you started and where you are now is almost unbelievable. The final truth of the collector's journey hits you right there in the driver's seat. You don't really own this masterpiece. You are just keeping it safe for the next generation. You have completed the ultimate automotive journey, and the childhood dream is fully realized.